We all learned the story of how the humble bumblebee, which is only known to pollinate flowers and make honey, built its own nest. We were told how it works by a man named Sir J. Ford at Cambridge University in England. His findings, however, contradict everything our senses tell us about bees. And as such, scientists should use an alternative theory that makes sense according to what we see and feel. Self-organizing systems theory, or SOS for short. The theory of self-organizing systems states that all living things, including bees, are simply machines. These machines have a simple set of rules they follow, and when they interact with other machines, they form complex patterns we call life. It was Sir J. Ford who first came up with the idea that bees could build their nest from scratch, rather than use existing holes in trees or cavities in the ground. He observed bumblebees building their nest using mud and twigs, but his theory wasn't widely accepted because it seemed too simple to be true. What? Bees can build houses? I thought they were just flying around eating honey and pollinating flowers. But it was true. Bees can build their own homes, and they do so with remarkable efficiency and speed. They do this by following simple rules. Find a suitable site for your nest. Start building. It wasn't until Sir Thomas Seeley came along that the idea gained ground. Sir Thomas was a bee scientist, and he proved that bees are capable of building complex structures from scratch using only their bodies and some materials they find in their environment. He did this by training bees to build a structure as simple as a hexagonal cell, which is what honeycombs are made out of. In his experiment, Sir Thomas placed bees in a large arena and gave them some wax starter materials. He then watched what they did next. The bees first started to build their combs at the center of the arena, but when this got too crowded, they moved outwards in all directions until each bee was surrounded by 6 empty cells. The bees were trained to do this by using a reward system. They were rewarded with sugar water for building the correct shape. The bees eventually learned how to build hexagonal cells on their own, even when there was no reward involved in doing so. The bees were able to do this because they are highly intelligent insects that can learn from their own mistakes. For example, if a bee accidentally built a round cell instead of a hexagonal one, it would receive no reward for doing so and quickly learn not to make round cells anymore. The bees were also able to learn how to build a hexagonal cell by watching other bees do it. If one bee built a hexagonal cell, another bee could watch that process and then repeat it. We can all learn something from the bees. The bees are a great example of how intelligent life can be. They have complex brains and can learn from their own mistakes, which is something that humans have not been able to do. We can learn a lot from animals, especially insects like bees.